Greetings, Commanders. This is Pagan Horde, and let's have another talk in the Mechbay skirmish. This time I think the smart thing to do, as one astute viewer pointed out, is to start talking about handheld weapons. Because we are, after all, in the handheld patch. HHR, it's handheld something. So let's talk handheld. We should have probably done that in the first, but as the first thing, since it is the new stuff, but I didn't think about it. I just went to do builds that I knew from previous playthrough. So let's start with regular stuff. Let's go Inner Sphere and Clans. Let's put Era everything. Let's just not do unknown or blacklisted, so let's assume it's things that actually works here. Let's see what we got. So let's start with something relatively common, like a medium mech, say a Shadowhawk, because these things have nice two hands to use for stuff like that. And it is one of the most common Inner Sphere mech that probably most of you will encounter during a playthrough. So I think that's a good place to start. Now there's a plethora of new handheld weapons. I don't know all of them. I've only seen a few in my playthrough. Let's take a look. Let's go medium. Let's go for a simple Shadowhawk. Kintaro, Naja. Who's that guy? The Skinwalker. Yeah, this is the guy who kicked my ass or killed the adder in my playthrough. What's this? The Rabbit Coyote. Yeah, there's a lot of choices. But for now, let's stay with something common so that we know it would work with everybody. Let's start with the classic 2H. Okay, so what are handheld? Handhelds are something that the mech will be carrying with his hands, like a rifle. The good thing is, it's a kind of a free weapon, because it means it will not count toward the weight of the mech itself. The bad news is, you will not be able to use weapons that are in the hands with it. And weapons that are on the arms of a mech typically have a natural +1 accuracy. So you're giving that up. You're giving that up to be able to use a weapon on the mech's hand. So it's a free weapon versus the arm accuracy. That's the give and take. So if we take away his medium laser, now we can have a look at the handheld stuff. And you will see that there's a lot of them. A lot more than before. So some of these are melee weapons, some of these are handheld weapons. And there's a lot. There is a lot more than they used to be. So this guy right now has a 5.5 ton handheld limit. That's his limit of carry. So this is a 4 ton, for example, one-shot sniper. There we go. 4 out of 5.5. So you get a free weapon, essentially. But you cannot use it with your arms. Let's take a look at, like, for example, carrying a free plasma rifle. That's the shit. But this thing is 8 tons, however. So, Titan Saw. Wow. 20 ton melee weapon? Wow. Zombie acid thrower. You see, those are completely new stuff for me. There's a lot of them. You could turn this guy into a melee mech and use, for example, a 5 ton mech lance. Let's see what it does. Requires lower arm +1 accuracy with his weapons. Since weapon dealt directly to internal. Sure. And it increases damage depending on movement. So this is something you could use with a charge or a melee attack, and it will increase damage based on movement. That is a very valid build. Limpet mines. Sure, why not? Like for example, this guy right here, our Shadowhawk, a self-contained laser rifle with 16 shots. It fits, and it would be perfect with him. Handheld Rag 2, that's 10 ton. Handheld Light AC5, that is 6 ton, so it's a bit too heavy for him. AC20, Ultra AC20, wow. Tri-Flamer Sticky, you have a lot of things, guys, now. I think right now in my current playthrough, I do have a Thunderbolt wielding this handheld MRM-10. Could probably give him something better, but that's what I had available in the regular playthrough. Like a Gauss rifle, a light PPC. There's a lot of choice. Laser rifle clan, even better. The bazooka is intriguing. It's one salvo, but damage 70, and 15 directly to structure. So that's kind of a big rocket, one shot rocket. The Avenger rifle, this I remember was the big thing. It was available on the Baba Yaga unique Atlas mech. It's essentially a Risk AC5. It's a free Risk AC5. So, ground control. What's that? 1 time 180. Okay, but one other thing that is important to note is that the weight here competes with the specialist slots. For example, if I want to put in a bolt-on AMS, which is a great addition to any mech, because it is essentially a free AMS that doesn't count toward the weight of the weapon, it is a 3 ton. So if I want to put the bolt-on AMS here, I will go over. So you have to understand that the weight of the specialist item, even if it is, for example, optics are considered a 1 ton item. So if I put it here, we're now at 8. So that is the difficulty that you sometimes have to make choice, because if you want to put specialist item, they count toward the carry weight. But how can we improve that? Well, there is some item that can improve your carry weight. For example, this. Industrial TSM. So it takes up 5 slots of your mech. Boom. But it 3 times the carry. So now our little Shadowhawk can carry 16.5 tons in his hands. I know that there's also a industrial armor, but I don't think those two adds up. Where are you? Super heavy Titan carbide lamellar. Yeah, 6 million armor. So where are you? Industrial spiked. Unless this is no longer a thing. Heat dissipating. I didn't know that was a thing. It's always worth checking out all the new stuff inside this. So it doesn't appear that the heavy industrial armor is available anymore. Okay. Well then, you have your answer. You need the industrial TSM. That's what is available. But with this simple item that takes up 5 fixed slots that cannot be moved, by the way. Oh no, they're movable slots. There you go. So we now have a 16 ton carrying Shadowhawk. So now we can go, instead of using a simple laser rifle, we now have 12.5 tons of carry weight. What can we give you? LBX boomstick? Sure. There you go. you now have a free LBX10 in your hand. And that is without counting everything else you can do to improve the Shadowhawk, but you now have a quote unquote free weapon inside your hand, an LBX10. With the bolt-on EMS, and you still have 2.5 tons to add. Now you cannot have two different weapons in one in each hand. That sadly doesn't work. So if you wanted to say it had a chainsaw, it wouldn't work even if the weight works. So you can only have one. But this way you can essentially install a free weapon on your mech. And I think that is pretty cool. So this is for the basic Shadowhawk. This was to give you a good example of how to use handheld and how to use it to improve your mech. But as we often do in those talks, let's go to the other extreme range. Let's see how can we make a big handheld 100-ton monster. Well, in the previous patch, it was the Baba Yaga. He was the monster. He came with the Avenger rifle. So let's load up the Baba Yaga and try to do that. See you guys in a sec. So here's the monster. The Baba Yaga Hero Atlas mech. Why this one? Well, this one comes packed with the Avenger rifle, which is the 20-ton Rack 5 essentially. It's a Risk Rack 5 handheld, which means it doesn't count toward the weight of the mech itself. It does, however, means that the mech has its full hands of 20 tons. You cannot add more. Okay. So how do we improve a guy who's already had full handheld? Well, because his handheld is at maximum, you cannot use something like an optic, which is for the late game absolutely essential. So how do you do it? Well, this guy, it already comes with a 400 engine. He already has, but let's say we don't need all the jump jet. Well, that's a good 22 tons left. So how do we put optics on you? You go the battle computer route. Now there's plenty of choices for that, and there's good argument to use some of these because of the less jam chance on your rack. However, my favorite, my go-to, is to the MK2 because of the evasion, ignore, and +1 to gunnery. So it's a flat bonus that will work on all of your weapon, not just one. And down into the battle computer route, you have the optics, which is one of the best item in the game. If you ever get one of these, find one of these, get it. Because it is essentially a advanced optic MK2, yoinks, that does not need to be used in your specialist slot. So now you can give this bad boy optics to make him much better. And since we're using missile, let's just give him missile. We're going to put the optics in the center torso so it doesn't blow up. Let's go ballistic. There we go. Ballistic. And we were speaking about jam chance. There's a battle computer for that. There you go. Minus 25% jam multiplier. There we go. So you're going to get the evasion ignore and the minus 25% jam chance. There you go. And you still have 18 tons to play with. Well, at this point, you can do pretty much whatever you want. The only thing that you cannot do is add more weapons inside the arms. In theory. There you go. Because of the Avenger rifle. But since we're dealing with a hero mech, apparently you can. So I'm eating my socks a bit right now, because apparently with him it doesn't matter. You can add more weapons into the arms. That's interesting. So this hero mech just became a lot more valuable. You do not care about putting more weapons in the hands with the Avenger rifle. That's a lot. Alright, let's improve him further then. So I am a big fan of turret mounts. Give you +2 accuracy to your streak here. Let's perhaps upgrade that streak to a 40, because we can. Streak MRMs, there you are. Let's upgrade to 40. Bam. Marvelous. Do we have enough ammo now that we are at 40? We actually do, because streaks only fire when there's a lock, so you can afford to carry just a wee bit less alpha strikes. So 10 is more than enough. There we go. So what do we add on with you? We are already at a very respectable 335, and that's when counting the rack at firing 3 shots. Do we add another rack to make you a double rack carrying monster? We probably should, eh? We probably should. There we go. Yoinks. Why not? Double rack 10 monster. There we go. An accurate double rack 10 monster. Rack 5, I mean. Ammo. But, you know, you can rebuild your Baba Yaga however you want. Of course. But I think this is cool. I think it is. So, this is 50 shots. That is almost 10. So, just a single one after that. Yoinks. There we go. Now that is a monster. You fire double rack 5, essentially, with the Avenger rifle and this rack 5 risk. And then you have 40 streak MRM on top of it. All of that being accurate thanks to your battle computer optics. And a very low chance of jamming. The only thing, maybe, is that firing... Oh, no. Not even. You're at -19 heat delta. So there you go, folks. That is quite a monster. No need of armor. But keep in mind that this ability to put in more weapons in the arms with the Baba Yaga might be a bug that is not intended. And it might just be patched soon enough. But right now, you have a hot seat cockpit that you can use to move faster. You can even melee with this. You can even kick, then fire all of that with the hot seat cockpit. Wow. Alright, so there you go, guys. I think this guy here is the ultimate handheld monster. And I think that this system is a great addition to the game. There's a shit ton of stuff in here that I don't know about. Smoker. There's a shit ton of new weapon ammo. This is the Avenger rifle that we were talking about. And I remember there was a monster called a Katusha. But it was severely nerfed at one point, so I don't know if this is still a thing. But, as you can see, you now have even more choices on how to build a mech, because you can now think of using your hands for a handheld. There it is. There it is. Yeah. Damage 12 times 100. 2160 damage. Yeah. So over 2000 damage one shot. If it is still available in game. I don't guarantee that it is. The thing is, however, it has an optimal range of 180. This is point blank, essentially. So, but this is a one button delete weapon. So, so I don't know if it still exists in the game, but there you go. That is one possible build. So there you go, guys. That's what I wanted to talk to you about the handheld weapon. I hope that the information was useful, and I hope I could make you drool about having a Baba Yaga like this, double rack 5 and streak MRM's monster. Alright, I'll see you guys in the next time. Please do the YouTube stuff. Every little click helps a small channel. See you next time.